in today's video, we are going to be making the perfect pie crust. There are many reasons why I like making my pie crust from scratch. One thing is you don't have to go run to the store to make it, and usually you have all the ingredients in the cupboard, and if not, you should have them in the cupboard. But also, I really hate when I buy pie crust from the store and it cracks or it breaks, or the ones that roll up and you try to unroll it and it's stuck together and then it just breaks, and it's just so frustrating. Pie crust can be a little tricky if you do not make it the right way. It can break on you and everything else. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make the perfect pie crust. Okay, so the most wonderful thing about pie crust is it's only 4 ingredients, and it's super simple to make. So what you will need is 2 2/3 cup of flour, and then the most important ingredient here, I would say, is vegetable shortening. Vegetable shortening is the key to having your pie crust perfect. When you roll it out and it doesn't crumble up and crack and all. And of course, you do not have to get Crisco. I just get the store brand. It is just fine, whatever kind of vegetable shortening you have. The next ingredient you will need is a teaspoon of salt. It does not really matter what kind of salt. You could have Himalayan salt, you could have sea salt, you could have whatever kind you want. It does not matter really. And now for the last ingredient, it's ice water. You need to make sure it is actually ice water where you put ice cubes in it. It needs to be super cold. And you need to put at least 6 tablespoons of the ice water in it. 6 to 10. I usually go more towards 10 just because it will crack and everything else if you don't have a lot of the liquid, because you know pie crust can dry up. So that's why you need to have at least 6. I don't add more than 6 at first because I like to kind of see the consistency. Sometimes I add a little extra flour in it or a little extra shortening, and so basically I just see how much ice water I will need. So if you can see, as you stir it, it kind of breaks off and gets a little crumbly. So I prefer the messy version where I just get in here and I stir it with my hands. Of course I wash my hands. That makes me be able to judge how basically it's coming together and whether I need to put more water in it or not. There are more reasons that I might make pie crust than just fruit pies. I also make pie crust for chicken pot pie. I make it for apple dumplings when my apples come in season. So I definitely use this recipe quite a lot. Now that I judged it, I will need to add a little more water. So this recipe makes about the size of a really decent pie. But I usually make mini pies so that everybody can have whatever pie they want. And I do also make big pies, but this recipe probably makes enough for 1 decent sized pie, along with like 2-3 extra little pies. I like extra pie crust just because sometimes you don't get the right shape that you want or whatever. So, this is coming together perfectly. If you can kind of see, it's starting to come together, less crumbly, and that's kind of what you want to check for. So you don't want it to be too dry, and you don't want it to be too moist. You want it to be a little more on the moist side than the dry side because pie crust does dry out. Okay, so I just added 2 more tablespoons of water. If you can hear it, you can kind of hear the extra water. It definitely is a messy process if you do it with your hands, but it is definitely a better technique. Get right in there and you get the right consistency. It is almost done. And of course, a quick note is if you do get it a little too moist, a little too kind of doughy. It is fine, just add a little more flour. It does not matter. Basically, you just add a little water, add a little flour, and then it's perfect. All right, this is looking perfect. I want it a little more moist because, you know, when you spread out and you have to roll out the dough, you put it over flour, and so it needs to be a little moist because the flour gets right in there and kind of starts to dry it up right away. But if you can see, it is really, really good. It's really quite perfect, and it will be perfect for your pie. All right, it is done. I'm going to show you a couple different pies that I have made recently. Here is a chicken pot pie that I just pulled out of the oven. So as we know, pie crusts can be made around the holidays, around Thanksgiving, around Christmas, but it also can be made around fruit season. And right now it is fruit season, so it is perfect timing to show you guys how to make. You can see I used the lids off of my canning jars to make these little mini pies. All right, it is done and it is ready to store for later. So I take a Ziploc bag and then just close it and then put it in the fridge until I'm ready to use it so it doesn't dry out. You can also take plastic wrap and just wrap it around it, and the same thing, just put it in the fridge until you're going to use it later. So I will make another video later and show you how to make some pie. So thanks so much guys for watching my video on how to make the perfect pie crust. Talk to you later. Bye.